All right, let me try that. That's better. I didn't really do anything. Okay. Welcome back to another episode of the Real Me with Rel podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in once again, man. Before we get further into this episode, of course, I'm going to need you guys to go smash that subscribe button, drop a like, comment, and make sure you guys are following us on all social media platforms. That being said, make sure you guys are following us also on TikTok, Instagram. We got multiple accounts, and there's a couple things I want to talk to about with you guys today. And one of them actually is my new services / business that I'm gonna be providing to people in 2026. I started kind of getting the ball rolling at the end of last year, but now it's kind of official now. So it is Shot by Jarrell. And you guys might ask, like, what is Shot by Jarrell? So let me tell you guys right now. So I've been doing the podcast for about like 3 years now, I would say. About to be going on to our 4th year. Shout out to you guys and all the support and the love that you guys been showing us this past 3 years. Has been insane. And if you guys missed the last episode that we did in 2025, we went over a lot of that stuff. And just a little quick brief reminder, but something that we went over was the views and what we did, and we went over 200,000 views on the Real Me with Rel podcast. Confirmed. I got the YouTube Wrapped, I think, a little after that episode came out. So I just want to say one more time, yeah, insane, super insane on how much love and how much stuff we got done last year. Like, I think, you took me from the year one. I wouldn't, man, I remember just wanting people to watch my show, and we have gone so past that and beyond that, and it's beautiful. And I always want to still be able to reflect and to be able to talk about that still. With all the stuff that we do, we're just such a moving podcast, and everything that we're doing is just so like, all right, let's do this. What are we gonna do next? What are we gonna do next? And we get so caught up in it, and we low-key, the team, me, we low-key start to forget on how much we have overcome this past couple years, and it's been great. So just one more time, last year, to all the people that viewed, watched clips, stories, engaged in any way, support with the clothing, buying merch, all our sponsors out there that we've met along the way. All you guys are great, and I appreciate every single one of you guys. It's a beautiful thing. And yeah, but back to what I was saying. So Shot by Jarrell, guys, let me tell you guys what that is. So I'm going to be offering services, doing content. I've gotten a couple DMs over the years that asked me to do some things, but I'm going to be real with you guys. Most of the stuff I do when I hold my camera or use any of my equipment is for the podcast. I've never really went out and gone and filmed somebody else's vlogs or their podcasts or took pictures of them. I've done those things, but for my business. So like, I've done a couple photo shoots and some videos for promo and things like that, but it's always for the Real Me with Rel, and it's never for anybody else. So that being said, this year I'm going to be offering my services to you guys. And what does that mean? So if you guys need pictures done, you guys need clips, quinceañeras, any type of edits, photos, anything you can really need with a camera, I'm going to be offering those services. So I'm very excited about that. I think it's going to be great, and making cinema content for someone that's not myself is going to be, I think, a true experience that I'm going to enjoy, because I love what I do. I do some things off of camera. Recently, I started working for this other company, and I'm doing their content now, and I look forward to doing content with you guys as well. So if you have I've had people that come up to me and ask me for advice how to get it started, and of course I give them my best advice that I can, but now I could really help you even a little further. So if you really need that kickstart in doing those vlogs or doing those outdoor interviews or whatever you may have planned, please DM me, Shot by Jarrell. So make sure you guys go give me a follow on there. I'm gonna pop that up. Besides that, I think, yeah, make sure you guys are just following me on Instagram, Jarrell B, of course, man. Your favorite host. But yeah, if you guys are new to this channel, I am your host, Rel. Welcome to my podcast, The Real Me with Rel. first thing I wanted to say, of course, was Happy New Year. 2026, we in here. It's lit. It's going by fast. It literally is, I think, the 11th or something like that. I don't know, man, but it's going by quick. Like literally, I think we're almost. Well, we still got a couple more weeks in January. I don't know if it's because like in my head that I be like so in the future, or if time is really moving as fast. I think my mentality has a lot to do with it because I'm always thinking about like tomorrow, like what's next. And I feel like that's a good mindset to have to not, but I think it's just as important to stay in the present because you could get lost like thinking too far ahead. And that was something I struggled with. I think in my early 20s, like I was really fearful and just like so much, I would be really anxious about like what's going to happen or like what's next if I don't do this or whatever it is. And I learned to live not like that, I guess, as much as I used to anymore. And I feel like it's a healthier way to live. Like you do want to be like, you want to have a plan, but you also want to be live in the present. I think if you focus on what you can do like in the present, it will be a lot smoother for sure. Um, Today I have a couple things we're gonna talk about. You know what? The first thing I wanted to ask you guys is, look, so this year I'm gonna be turning 24, and I was with the bros last night. Was it 2 days ago? I don't know. It was me and Steven, somebody, but we were talking about, we're getting old, and this new generation is really man, they're frying us because it's like Jesus, like I'm getting older for sure. All right, let's be for real. I'm turning 24 this year. Okay, I said it. And I guess what I wanted to ask you guys is, what is considered like unk? Because okay, so I seen a post. Like, you guys, let me know if you guys agree with this. I seen a post that's like, okay, if you're a LN, which is a little nigga, you're from like, I don't know, like 14 to like 16 or 18 or something like that, and then like from 16 or 18 or whatever to like 20, shit, I think it might be to 20, 22 or something like that, or 20, 24, 23. I'm not trying to make this fit my situation, I promise you that. But it's like, okay, from like 18 to 24 or 23 or something like that, or you're like a YN. And then it's like 25 on to 30, you're like big bro. And then 30 up, you're unk. And I highly agree with that. So you guys let me know, am I unk? Am I unk status? Like, is that what's going on here? Like, man, okay, I definitely wouldn't I wouldn't mind being called big bro like next year. Cause I'm turning 25. And 25, you're cooked, man. And like, it's so, what's funny about aging is like, it sneaks up right up on you, man. And like, by the time you realize you getting old is like, it's too late. Like, when I go to the bar or like, yeah, when I go out to the bar, bro, and well, actually not really. Well, even the bar. I'm 23, right? About to be 24. Yeah, most of the people in there are 20, 21, and you're just like, fuck. Or like if you're at a club or something like that, then they even shorties be like, oh, I'm 19, about to be 20, and you're just like, damn. And then when you say your age, you're just like, oh, how old are you? I'm 24. They're like I've gotten a couple. I was with Lil Bro, shout out my assistant Jaden. He's like 4 years younger than me, and I don't know, we were out somewhere and I was filling out paperwork, and of course they asked me like, oh, what year were you born? I said 2002, and he said, damn. I was like, sit your ass down. Like, you better pipe down with all that. Shout out all my O2 babies, and he really just jealous because he didn't make that bracket. If you were born after 2004, you're not us, bro. You're not, like, if you were born in 2005 and like up, not us, man. You're not us. Cause I feel like we got the best the last best generation, because most of our childhood, like 80% of it or 75 was without electronics. Like seriously, like the iPhone just came out when I remember like first, second grade. And back then, parents didn't get you an iPhone if you're 8 years old. Like that was like, what does this 8-year old need up with the iPhone? Um, don't get me wrong, some rich kids did, but that forced us to be outside a lot. And I think being outside is the best part, one of the best part of my childhoods, man. Like, I think, we're so these younger generation. This is why I'm getting called old, because the way I'm talking. But it's like I feel like these younger kids are such in a rush, and so were we. But I felt like even more than we were to be grown. Like they want to go out and just like be grown. Like I don't know. I think social media has a big part to play. We talked about that multiple times. Like just what kids see, and they see the money, and so I don't think we were so much exposed to that when we were younger. So I think like it didn't affect us as much. We didn't care about taxes. We didn't we didn't care about none of that. We didn't know the price of gas and mortgages and APR rates, and like I think it's good to be educated, but not to the point where you don't enjoy yourself being a kid. Like be a kid at the same time. All my little bros and my younger, siblings of that age, I do encourage them to I tell them all the time, one of the best advice I ever got from somebody was, he told me this guy, he was telling me, he's like, your only two jobs right now is to be a kid and to go to school. Like you don't have to really worry about anything besides that. So I also tell them that, but I also want them to also think about their future as well. Like, something that they're really passionate about, but not to the point where it stresses them. You shouldn't be 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 is okay, you're getting there, but you shouldn't be a teenager like really stressing because you're not making 100,000 or you don't know exactly how you're going to, make it yet. And some people were blessed like myself. I think at a young age, I always kind of knew I loved entertainment. I can make people laugh. I'm entertaining. I liked cameras. I liked being the center of attention. That was something I loved when I was a kid. And so my path is obviously different. And I've always had a kind of a good idea that I wanted to do something with entertainment. And the podcast is such a big, part of what I do, but I didn't always know that. I didn't even know what podcasts were like really growing up. It really didn't hit until like the COVID when I was 20 years old, right? No, I was 19. I started this podcast when I was 19, about to be 20. So it happened a little later in my life, still kind of early. And then what's crazy? I did like a poll, right? I did a poll on my Instagram the other day. I be doing random shit. And I was like, when did I start the podcast? I put, did I start it in 2020, 2021, 2022, or 2023? And everybody damn near voted 2020. And just to clear that up, I started the podcast in 2021, but I wish I would have started it earlier. The earliest I wish I would have started it was probably when I was in high school. I think my momentum would have been like, if you guys think that I've grown a lot, which I have, just imagine if I did this shit way back in high school. I was, it would have been like the subscribers, all that stuff would have been like a really lot easier because I saw hundreds of people every day. And, I wish I would have started it back then for sure. But in high school, I was, throwing parties, making music, getting lit every day. I was having fun. That was me. But, am I becoming old? Is that something, I don't know. You guys let me know. Is 24 old? I'm 23 still. Not for very long, but we got the birthday in April. Shout out my Tauruses. Don't play. Yeah. All right, guys. So look, I got a couple random ass topics, questions that we could talk about, discuss. I don't want to make this episode too long. I just want to make it like kind of interesting. Kind of want to pick your guys' brain on something. So the first one I have is is cheating the betrayal or is lying worse? So let's answer this, guys. Is cheating the actual betrayal or is it the lying? I think this is good. Well, for someone that's coming from that hasn't really been in really any really toxic relationships or long term, most definitely. But I would say it's the lying. I can't. The thing about it, this is my thing. I don't think I've ever really said this on a podcast, but if you know me in real life, I've said this. I don't really care if you lie to me, to be honest with you. If I'm being real, like I really don't care if you lie to me. This is the problem that I have. If all I'm saying is if you lie to me, you better be good enough at it that I don't know you're lying. Because if I sat up in here, guys, and I told you that I hate liars and I can't rock with anyone that lies, I would be a hypocrite. I lie. Everybody lies. Everybody does not tell the whole absolute 100% truth. Like whether it be like barely or a lie, but no one really is 100%. And I can accept that. You know what I mean? People fib, people, they BS, they be playing. But see, I think if you're lying to me and I know that you're lying, you're not good at lying. And I'm more upset because that means not only, lying to me is one thing, but now you're so, what's the word? You're so careless or nonchalant that you don't even care enough to make me believe that you're not lying. And that's where I get really offended. It's like, okay, man, you lied to me, but the effort in this was insane. It's almost like you want me to know that you're lying. You know what I mean? And that's where I really find the disrespect. So bringing it back to like cheating, I think cheating is a no-no for sure. Like I could never, it's going to be really hard for me to forgive you if you cheat on me, because in life, you don't really have to be with anybody if you don't want to. It's not that. A lot of people put themselves into situations when they know they don't really want to be. And that could be a fear of losing somebody or just because you got so much love for somebody that you just want to make it work. Don't get me wrong. But at the end of the day, it's your choice. I really believe that. Women and men, it's especially women. I feel like women have, in my opinion, have more control of their relationship life and who they let in and how far things go. I really truly believe that, and that's not, anything bad. I really just think like women, they choose, like they really choose. I think women, if a woman doesn't want to be around you or invested into you, they really won't be. Like I think like they have a little more control. I think some of us men are around women because it's like we're settling, like, or just this is what the best we're gonna get. I feel like some of us are like that, and not all of us have not the luxury or just the choice to be like, I ain't rocking with her. Like I need some. Some people really. I think a lot of things come into factor. Some people just really are invested in somebody, and then some people are just settling. They might think like I can't find anybody that will treat me better than this, or somewhere that I'll be more happy, and they hang on to things, and that's how cheating kind of really evolves. I really believe, because it's just kind of like two people that don't really truly want to be with each other, so they just try to make it work, and then they step out, and then it becomes cheating because you're supposed to be in a relationship with this person that's really not 100 with you, and then the whole thing just kind of like happens. But yeah, I think it's the lying. I think lying is worse. I feel like because the truth becomes before the cheat. You could really be truthful with somebody, and I don't know, man. I'm not a cheater, guys. Like I feel like this is probably a better question to ask with a female guest or something like that. But I think like I'm okay. Not all cheating is like thought out and like planned, but I'm pretty sure, definitely, that it's just been, maybe it was just like this time and place or whatever. But if we're talking about like overall, I think, because if you're having an idea, like I don't think, I really don't. Okay, I'll say this. This is more controversial, but it's like I don't think really nobody like impulsively, like just like impulsively cheats. I think it is an impulse, but it's something that is like built up over time. Like I genuinely believe, if you want to be faithful to somebody, dead ass. I don't think it takes like one moment for you to be like, I'm just gonna like, just cheat. I think it's something that is something that's predetermined. I think if you're willing or like able to do that, I think you didn't really love that person um in the first place, like truly or genuinely. And that's just my opinion. I think that's why I think lying is definitely more hurtful, because it's probably some stuff that you weren't, on both sides, male and women, that weren't truthful in the beginning, that led to you guys like cheating or like whatever. So that's just gonna be like my two cents on that one. Let's see. Why would some of these questions I've answered? Let's see. Why do we stay after getting cheated on? I can't answer this because I haven't stayed with anybody or been with anybody that's cheated on me. But let me just make my I forgot, what's a hypothesis? I think that's what it's called. Educated guess. I think people stay because I think investment has a lot to do with it. I think letting go is hard for people. We talked about that on the last episode, and letting and what and how important or what letting go of things can do for you in the future, and how it could help you to move better. But it's one of the hardest things I struggle with today is letting go. Is really letting go. It sucks. I think that part of me, that kid in me, that 5-year-old, 6-year-old Jarrell, is it's hard for him to let go of things. I think a part of me still lives inside that wants things to be forever. I like this. This is great. Hold on to me. Let's hold on together. Like, like if we hold on, like ain't nothing gonna break us, And it's tough, man. Having things that you're familiar with and comfortable with, and moving out of that is hard. I think it's one of the hardest things to do. And it's scary not knowing what's next, how you're going to end up in a relationship, not in a relationship, being with somebody, not having them around. I deal with it personally with my team, my podcast team. So every season, unfortunately, we usually have team members that end up parting ways. They're not all bad. They're not all like, oh, it's like, fuck Jarrell now. But yeah, I would say like not really many of them were like bad blood. But it's scary for me. And every season, every year I start this podcast, it's usually with people that I didn't have the year before that. And it's tough. It's hard for me to let go of my friends, of my people that I got mad love for. All my team members, DJ, who else? Seren. I was just thinking about her the other day. My OG assistant, like that was with me. I remember when she was on my team and it was just us, like, and all the stuff that I've done, moving forward, she wasn't there to see any of it. But I had new people there that loved me just as much and were there just like she was. And a part of you still wants those people to be around, and that's where I feel like I struggle with letting go. It's scary for me when I don't have the people that I originally started with. Now we're kind of like onto a couple of years, so it's like we'll just use the like beginning of the year. People I start with from the beginning of the year, it's scary for me, and it sometimes I lose track. I lose track of the podcast. It used to be just, I remember at one point it was just me and Steve. Shout out my best friend, Steve, who's still with me to this day and still on the team. Shout out him. But I remember it was just us. Before the studio in Hollywood and dub and like all these things that we're doing. It was just us talking about those things. Yeah, and it's hard. I miss a lot of people. So going back to why do we stay after, being cheated on? I think it's just a part of fear. It's fear. I think it's like it's scary when you're comfortable, especially if you're invested into somebody that you love or maybe even see a future with. Sometimes that's another thing too. Like you get so invested with somebody, you start planning your future around not them, but with them in it. And and I personally, when I bring people into my circle, I see them in my future. I wouldn't add anybody onto my podcast that I don't really see necessarily, at least at the time, in my future. And that's just me. I'm very a long term person. I don't short term is not really my thing. I think if I'm invested in you, I'm invested. If someone's short term or just around for a little while, I just don't invest myself into them. And that means time, energy, money, whatever it is. If I don't see this as being something that could grow or at least at the age that I'm at in my life, I just don't invest. I don't invest into it. I don't think it's like a best move for me to do. So I think those are like probably the main factors why people stay. It's just kind of just trying to hold on and not being able to let go. Let's say another one. Let's see what we got. This is kind of a controversial. What do you guys think about this? Most people don't want loyalty. They want control. Now this is interesting because is control a factor when it comes to loyalty? I'm very big on loyalty. I think loyalty is so important. It's one of my deal breakers. If you're not, because I think I'm a very loyal person at heart. I trust me. When I do something with you, it's you because you're my favorite. Like straight up, and I wouldn't want to do with anybody else. My taco truck, I love them, man. Die behind that shit, and I'm loyal to them. My barber, I'll kill somebody for that. Man, my barber knows, man, I would headshot somebody for him. Pull it up. My hair lady that does my dreads, Taj, I would double homicide somebody that ever hurt her or disrespect her. Because I got loyalty at heart. At heart, I really do. I'm very loyal. That's a little extreme, don't get me wrong, but I just trying to emphasize on what loyalty really means to me. When you're my person, whether it's business or our friendship relationship, I rock behind you because that's how I would want somebody to rock behind me. Have my back the way I love you. Love me like I love you. I wouldn't do anything behind your back or to you that I wouldn't want done to myself. But this is another thing though too as well. Another thing I've learned is that not everybody is you. And that's where part of growing up, you have to differentiate and understand, even with all that stuff I just said, these people that we're talking about aren't you. So you gotta understand is everybody is different. People love different. People communicate different. People they express themselves different than you. They might have the same intention, but the way they express is different. So that's another part I think that's important too is really, how do you say it? Not visualize, but really understanding that people aren't the same as you. As much as they might be, they're not. So, and you can't take that personal. The way I show love is never going to be the exact same way, my best friend or one of my friends or whatever shows love. It's not going to be the same. They might have the same intentions, but we're all different people. And that's something you have to accept as well. And some people, I feel like it's hard for them to accept that. And I was one of them, definitely. I would wonder like why people would do things. Like I'm like, I would never, ever do this to you. Like I have no idea how you could do this to me. But I'm thinking like myself. I'm thinking if it was me, people aren't me. People are different. And that's something I think in life that is important, and that you will soon to find out that there is only one you. Amen. Yeah, let's just say that. But control, I think I don't want to control anybody. I feel like to control somebody, you're essentially, this might be true or not, but I think to control somebody, you're essentially making them do things they don't want to do. So if you're doing something off the pure, off what your heart says to do, I don't think that's me controlling. Like if you're trying to show me loyalty by, you know, whatever that may look like in relationship, being faithful, showing up when I'm not all that good, or being there during the tough times, or whatnot, and I'm trying to think, or cut off certain people because you feel like that may bother me that they're talking to you, like whether it be male friends, female friends, something that of that nature. I don't believe that's control. I think that's loyalty from the heart. Like if you're doing something because you're loyal to somebody off of genuine love, I don't think like that's control. I think it's a very fine line, but I feel like it's control when you start making people do stuff that they don't want to necessarily do. So I've talked to a lot of girls. We're gonna rephrase that, but I've talked to girls before, and they, how many times have you guys heard? Yeah, my boyfriend, he doesn't let me go outside. All right, my boyfriend, he doesn't let me do this. My boyfriend, he doesn't let me do that. And it's always the girls that like doing that shit. That's the problem. You know what I mean? So I think that's a form of control, because essentially you're telling someone that genuinely doesn't want to do that, but she's doing it for you. And that's where it's different. If someone's doing something that they genuinely want to do for you, then it's not control. That's just loyalty from the heart and I think it's almost a form of respect. But when you start forcing people to act a certain way or not do things, that's control. That's control for sure. If it's not genuine and coming from two places, whether it be loyalty, love, whatever, it's control. You're trying to control somebody, and I don't like to control anybody. My team, my family, my friends, my significant other. If you want to go do something, go do it. I'm not your dad. I'm not gonna. Hell no. Like no, bro. No, bro. I'm not gonna do that. I don't want your Instagram password. I don't want to see every guy that texts you. I don't need you. You know what I mean? I don't want to control your life. I don't need to be in your business. I don't need your phone password. I am a fan. What do you guys think about this? Moving on, but sharing locations. How do y'all feel about that? Is sharing locations excessive? I don't know. I like sharing locations, but some people are like we were just saying, it's a little controlly, like. But it's like, okay, why do you share locations with somebody? You can't say it's not to see where they're at, and that's low key stalking. Because you can really ask somebody, or just they could tell you, but I feel like it's a form of like, I need to see where exactly you're at. What do you guys think? Is sharing locations kind of toxic? Is that something that should be talked about in a relationship? But what if you don't feel comfortable sharing your location, but you're not cheating though? I feel like women think that's a red flag. If you don't want to share your location, they think, oh yeah, he's cheating. He on bunk or whatever. Me personally, I don't think so. I don't think it should be an obligation to share locations with somebody. And you know what about this dating thing is, there's so many things that society has built for us in our generation that weren't around years ago. And we're trying to normalize a lot of it. Dude, there wasn't phones like 20 years ago. Like I'm talking about like cell phones. So I don't understand how we can go from there wasn't even phones to now it's mandatory that I need your location. We went 40, 50, whatever years without cellular phones, and we had relationships, kids, grandkids all at once. And I'm pretty sure there were still things that were troubled and being in a relationship back then, but locations was not one of them. I remember I posted a clip about, and what was the clip? Oh, sharing passwords on social media. My mom, she commented. She's like, this didn't even exist when I was a kid, like worrying about someone's social media passwords. Like, so I think it's a little excessive. Sharing location, social media, I think that's all like new stuff society has put on us to make us feel like that's part of being in a relationship. And I know it was never intended to be. When Adam and Eve were here, those were not things that were like on the agenda. It was loyalty and love and just showing up for the person. Yeah. So I don't know. I'ma still want that look though. If I'm being for real. If I'm being like dead ass. But yeah, I think that's another good one. Okay, last one, guys. Last one. If you guys like this ep, I'll do another one. If I see some good feedback from this episode, I'll do another one. Let's see. Would I date myself? Yeah, I would. I'm a catch. I don't understand like why women think I'm like this. Okay, I don't think they think I'm an abusive guy. The always portrayed persona that I've always got from like women is that I'm just like a player and I don't care and I just be talking to like other girls and that like I just don't even know what loyalty is and basically man, I don't know. Just I'm basically this nonchalant guy. And there's some truth into what I just said, but the thing about me is, so if we're speaking about being nonchalant, right? I don't show love or care about anything that I don't love. So if you think I don't care about you, or if you think you think I just don't care, it's because I probably don't. And that's because I don't have genuine love for you. And the only time I really do care and get emotional or upset, concerned, worried, emotionally invested into anything or anyone is if I have love for you. If I really genuinely have love for you. Straight up. And that's just me because I would love to say I'm genuine at heart, good and bad. I'm not saying what I just said was good. But yeah, is there people I don't care about? Hell yeah. And 9 times out of 10, they don't care about me either. So, and that's just the truth, fellas and ladies and gentlemen. That is the absolute truth. 9 times out of 10, if someone is complaining that you don't care, it's most of the time because they also don't care about you either. So, we're just going to leave it with that today. But, yeah, that's pretty much it. See, last question. Is LA making me colder or just more realistic? Now, that is a tough one. Los Angeles is definitely making me more cold. It is the absolute worst place to date for a million reasons. And we're not going to get into more of that. You can actually go watch this episode that we did a whole episode on what it's like dating in Los Angeles. But just to answer the question, I think it's like 70% cold, 30% realistic. Because a lot of the stuff that you find out later in life or just through experiences through dating in LA is just reality. And it's not anything that no one doesn't suffer or go through over in New York or whatever. Some know. Like some areas, there's just some stuff that's just we got over here that they don't got over here. But people being unfaithful, lying, cheating, all that stuff is all around the world. So I really believe LA is definitely more amplified, but it's not so much like it's out of reality. You know, I think it's just a little more intense for sure. But yeah, guys, that concludes it. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Before we get up out of here, make sure you guys are following me on Instagram at Rel, and all these links are in the description. Moving forward into 2026, guys, I want to take more requests. this year we are focusing on getting female guests onto the podcast. That being said, I have something set up with the Highness podcast. They are a women ran podcast out there in San Diego. We met them a couple weeks ago at a event in LA, and why not? Women that do a podcast, let's do it. I feel like it's gonna be a great conversation. We plan on doing this episode this month and should be out by the end of this month, or if not, the early of next month. But back to what I was saying, female guests, man. So all you female guests, it doesn't matter. I think a lot of people think to come onto the podcast, you have to be somebody, or you have to be a rapper, or you got to influencer or stripper, like anything. But that is not the case here. That is not the case here at all. As long as we can have a genuine conversation, that's all I care about. I don't really care about people's titles, because I've had people with titles that don't have interesting or genuine conversations as somebody that without a title. I think people are just people, and we made this podcast to be genuine and have combos. And that being said, don't be afraid to reach out if you have an opinion, you have a voice. I see a lot of people on Instagram treat their Instagram like it's a damn podcast. Come on to a real podcast and let's have a conversation. Let's do it. I'm up for it. That being said, always DM us, DM my assistant. All that stuff is always in the bio, or in the bio of the Instagram, the description of the videos. You guys can reach out. I'll get the word, DM the podcast account, whatever, and we'll make it happen. So we're definitely focusing on this first 6 months is getting these female guests onto the podcast and other people, but that is something that is on our focus right now. So, yeah, but besides that, make sure you guys order yourself some merch. I don't have no merch on today, but at Thrill Me Clothing, we never stop that. It's always all year round, always working on new apparel, zip-ups, t-shirts, sweats, hoodies, beanies, crew necks. Trying to think what I'm missing. But yeah, whatever you want. Nothing over $45. You're not spending more than $40. I promise you. Go get you a hoodie. Get you $40. They're really $45, but if you're subscribed, I give you $5 off. So $40. We ship. I'm not even really charging people for shipping right now. Honestly, I think I do. Not really, because if you buy more than one jacket, I won't charge you for the shipping. I won't, because I'm already giving you $5 off. There's profit margins and whatever. But my main goal of this podcast is not, the podcast merch is to not make a lot of money. It's not a thing I make money. Don't get me wrong, off that shit. But it's never was intended to, this sale has to make us money. It's really to push the brand, show love back to the supporters, a mutual support, and to get the brand out there. I love seeing people wear my hoodies on. I've gotten millions of hoodies, not millions, but a lot of hoodies for free without no charge. I'm not saying necessarily that's going to be you, but it's never been about the money. It's always been about how can we build the brand and grow it. And you guys walking around, whether that be at work, Starbucks, Chick-fil-A, whatever y'all be doing, and y'all wearing my merch helps us to show people that we're growing, and it's a real life experience. It's showing that we have real life people like you guys as yourself that watch the podcast. And yeah, so make sure you guys DM the account. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Season 4, guys. This is an extended season, so we are gonna be in this season for 9 more months. So strap up, put your seatbelt on. We're gonna be flooding the content. I wanted to start off with an interview for the first one for the 2026, but I tried. There was somebody that we were supposed to interview last week, so now we're just shooting to do that Highness podcast or Ralphie, whichever one. We're trying to work both of them, but yeah, it's gonna pick up. We always do. We always gonna get it in. And yeah, if you guys enjoyed this episode, let me know your guys' feedback. Drop a comment. Until then, I'm gonna see you on the next episode for real.